Good evening, everyone. It is May 12th, Sunday. It is, what time is it, Nori?
7-ish.
7-ish. That's right, about 7:30. Just wanted to do one of two updates today. So we're going to do an update now. Kristen had a pretty rough morning. She was pretty nauseated for a good chunk of the morning. They have switched her medication, both her anti-rejection meds, they've switched to IV, and her pain meds to sub-Q, so a shot in her arm, because they just feel she's not absorbing a lot from her belly and a lot of stuff is building up. So she's gone that, they're going to do that for a little bit until they're sure she can start absorbing those medications. She had dialysis today. It went well. She slept most of the afternoon. She was pretty barfy and pretty sleepy. So she slept most of the afternoon. They did come in and decided that they did want to put the IVC filter in. So that's the inferior vena cava filter. It's a thing that looks like a bit of a very tiny badminton birdie that they insert through her neck into her inferior vena cava, and it will catch a clot if it dislodges. The reason they decided to do that, originally they put her on heparin, is they were worried that she was bleeding a bit from the site where when they had pulled her drain. And so she had quite a bit of old drainage come out because the drain was blocked. And then she had what seemed like some new drainage. Last night, overnight, they gave her 2 units of blood. Her hemoglobin didn't drop precipitously, so it was 79 and then 76, and then went up to 89. So she didn't lose a ton of blood or anything like that, but they just thought that it would be best that they not give her a blood thinner when it looked like she might be bleeding. So she is just heading down to get that IVC filter put in right now. They explained a little bit more about her clot in her leg. So the clot's kind of it's kind of a longer extended clot going from her femoral artery kind of into her leg. And so they just don't want it to dislodge until, in that time that between when they can actually anticoagulate her versus when they have to sort of let her heal in her abdomen. This afternoon when we got back after dinner, she looks much better. She's chatting, she's bright, she's talked to a couple people on the phone. She says she feels quite a bit better. I think now that they've been giving her some of the meds in different routes, she's actually absorbing them more and feeling a lot better. She was pretty, kind of grunty and not feeling well this morning, and this evening she's been quite chatty. Nori, did I miss anything?
I think that pretty much covers it. Everybody that I've been speaking to they're asking what are the risks that are involved with this filter that they're putting in.
Okay, so there are some risks. There's risks that are associated with any procedure. So this isn't a surgery. We consider it more of a procedure. They're gonna freeze the area and maybe give her a bit of sedation and kind of go in through the vein in her neck, which isn't super comfortable, but it's, they freeze the area, and the freezing is usually the worst part. There's a couple of risks. The risk is that the site could bleed, or that it could be infected, just like any type of peripheral IV or central line. There is a risk that the filter, when they put it in, could move and dislodge a little bit, which might make it a bit harder to retrieve later. And then there's the risk that if that clot did dislodge out of her leg and actually get caught in the filter, then it would create a bigger clot in that area of the filter. But they could go in and intervene. They have to weigh the risk about whether having a clot be caught in the filter, then creating a bigger clot is more risk than a clot ending up in her lung, and the last thing we want is a clot to end up in her lung. So the majority of the risks, I think there's a few other risks, like, they're going into your jugular vein, which is right next to your carotid artery, but they do that via ultrasound guidance, so they're really able to see a lot better than they would before when they were kind of stabbing in blind historically.
Awesome.
She is on still on antimicrobials. Her white cell count is climbing just a little bit. It was 10 and then 12 and then 13. It's still not, it's a little bit higher than we'd like it, but we expect that when they went in and, now that we know that her graft, when they took it out, grew some things, they disturbed a bunch of stuff, so her body's going to respond to that. And it's actually a really good sign that her body is mounting that response. It just shows that she's still got some fight in her.
Awesome. Okay, well, we'll wait about an hour and then hopefully have more of an update, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Great. Bye.